Today, we're really getting into Argentina, a nation just full of vibrant culture, a really complex history, and some incredibly bold ambitions shaping where it's headed now.
Absolutely. And geographically, it's enormous.
Right. Second largest in the southern cone of South America. We're talking 2.8 million square kilometers.
Yeah, massive. And about 47 million people living there.
And when you think Argentina, you probably picture, things like tango,
the Passion, yeah.
the gauchos, those amazing landscapes, from the Andes right across to the Pampas Plains.
It's got it all visually.
So our mission today is basically to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge about Argentina's situation right now as of mid-2025.
Okay.
We'll look inside first economy, politics, society, then we'll zoom out to its external relations, trade, diplomacy.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's unpack this and dive into the internal picture first.
Right. Well, Argentina's economy is, it's a fascinating study in contrast, really.
So
immense potential. I mean, huge.
Yeah.
But it's so often overshadowed by these persistent recurring challenges.
Okay.
It is the third largest economy in Latin America. GDP around, $655 billion in 2023?
Still significant.
Definitely. But then GDP per capita, around $13,700, puts it sixth regionally. So there's a gap there.
Mm-hmm.
And the natural wealth is just striking. You've got incredibly fertile lands.
The Pampas, right?
Exactly. Vast lithium reserves, critical now. And significant shale oil and gas, especially in Vaca Muerta.
Ah, yes, Vaca Muerta keeps coming up.
It's one of the world's largest deposits. Plus, don't forget agriculture. It's a global powerhouse.
Like soy, beef.
Top exporter of soy, beef, corn, wheat. Really fundamental to the economy.
That potential certainly sounds impressive, but recent history has been a bit of a roller coaster, hasn't it?
That's putting it mildly, yeah.
I mean, 2024 saw a 1.7% economic contraction. That was partly drought, wasn't it?
Yeah, really severe drought, combined with the initial shock, you could say, of President Javier Milei's stabilization program. That kicked off back in December 2023.
Right, the shock therapy reforms. People talked about that a lot.
They did, because it was drastic, slashing government spending by 30%.
30%, wow.
Devaluing the peso by 50%, all aiming to hammer down those fiscal and external deficits.
So here's where it gets really interesting. What were the results of these drastic measures? By mid-2025, what actually happened?
Well, the results were pretty surprising, actually. Quite remarkable how quickly some things shifted.
Like what?
Monthly inflation. It dropped from, a staggering 25% in December 2023 down to around 2% by mid-2025.
2% from 25, that's huge.
It's a massive drop, and maybe even more impactful, poverty rates fell. From 53% down to 38%.
Okay, and what does that mean in terms of people?
That means about 1.7 million children were lifted out of poverty.
Wow, 1.7 million, that's something.
It really is, and the GDP, it bounced back. We saw an 8% annualized rate reported early in 2025.
8% annualized?
Yeah, and projections for the full year are now around 5.5% growth, driven by private consumption picking up, investment, and real gains in the energy sector.
Wow, okay. From 25% inflation down to 2%, lifting 1.7 million kids out of poverty, GDP bouncing back. Those are undeniably significant numbers.
Oh, they are.
But, with any kind of shock therapy, there's always the other side of the coin, isn't there?
Yeah.
What are the lingering problems or new challenges created by these reforms?
Oh, absolutely. While those gains are impressive, big challenges definitely persist. Public debt, for instance, is still very high.
How high?
Around 110.5% of GDP. And the tricky part, about 56% of that debt is in foreign currency.
Which makes it harder to manage.
Much harder.
Bias.
Especially with limited access to international credit for rolling it over. And inflation. Yes, monthly rates fell dramatically.
Right.
But the cumulative inflation for 2024 was still over 275%.
Oof. So prices are still incredibly high compared to before.
Exactly. Especially for essentials like food and beverages. That really hits people hard. The peso's value is also still eroded. It's lost so much ground against the dollar over the last decade.
And jobs.
Unemployment has sort of stabilized, but it's still a concern, around 8.2%. Plus, there are external risks.
Like the weather.
Like potential rainfall deficits in 2025.
Yeah.
That could hit agricultural exports, which are absolutely critical for revenue.
So it's not all smooth sailing yet.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But there is genuine optimism around Milei's focus on fiscal discipline and his plans to lift capital controls that could attract serious foreign investment.
Especially in lithium and energy.
Precisely. That's where a lot of eyes are focused. So it's this constant tightrope walk between austerity and trying to spark sustainable growth.
That brings us nicely to the political landscape, which, much like the economy, sounds incredibly dynamic, often polarized too.
Very much so.
You have President Javier Milei, this libertarian economist, pushing a truly transformative agenda since December 2023. His party is La Libertad Avanza. But here's the catch, right? His party holds only, 15% of seats in the lower house?
Yeah, just 15%, and only 8% in the Senate.
So how does a minority government even attempt to push through such radical changes?
Well, his approach has heavily relied on using executive decrees.
Bypassing Congress, essentially.
To a large extent, yes.
Yeah.
Using decrees to cut public sector jobs, slash utility subsidies, deregulate whole sectors like telecom and healthcare.
All aiming for that zero deficit budget goal.
Exactly. It's a way to enact policy without needing legislative majorities he simply doesn't have.
And public support, given how tough the measures were initially.
Surprisingly strong, actually. Bolstered, no doubt, by those falling poverty numbers and the economic recovery we talked about.
But the test is coming.
The big test will be the midterm elections in October 2025. That will really show the resilience, or lack thereof, of his minority government.
And looking back, Argentina has seen swings before, right? Between different political models.
Oh, absolutely. Historically, it's oscillated between populism, then military rule. The 1976-83 junta left deep scars.
Right.
Before democracy was restored in 83. And then you have the more recent memory of the 2001-2002 economic crisis.
The big default and unrest.
Exactly. That remains a powerful cautionary tale about instability.
So, with that history and the reliance on executive decrees now, what does this mean for broader governance issues and human rights concerns? Are those taking a backseat?
Well, corruption is still a significant issue. Argentina ranked 98th out of 180 on the 2023 Corruption Perceptions Index.
Is that better or worse?
Actually, there's a drop of 4 places from 2022.
Oh, so not improving on that front?
No. It highlights that even with economic reforms, these deep-seated institutional problems persist. And that can definitely hinder stability and, foreign investor confidence.
What about other governance issues?
There have been allegations, for example, of illegal surveillance under past governments and ongoing issues with judicial inefficiency. That undermines trust.
And human rights specifically.
Concerns do exist. Reports of police abuses, poor prison conditions, overcrowding is a big problem in Buenos Aires jails. Indigenous communities, despite having constitutional protections, still face real barriers in getting their land rights recognized. That's a constant point of friction.
And violence against women.
Femicides remain a pressing issue. In 2021, there were 231 cases reported, but only 6 convictions resulted.
6 out of 231.
Yeah, it points to significant gaps in the justice system's response.
Are there any positive developments on the rights front?
Yes, actually. Argentina has made strides in gender equality. Notably, they ratified the ILO's Convention 190 in 2021.
What does that do?
It aims to protect women from violence and harassment in the workplace, so that's a positive step. But Milei's reforms, even though they're mainly economic, have sparked debates over labor rights, too.
How so?
Unions have been critical of measures seen as anti-picketing, for example, so there's tension there.
Okay, that's a really comprehensive look at the internal political and rights situation. Let's pivot a bit now to society and culture. Argentina is often described as, diverse, highly literate.
Yes, and its Human Development Index is classified as very high by the UN.
What really shapes the culture?
Well, you can't overstate the impact of European immigration, primarily from Italy and Spain.
Right.
It fundamentally shaped the demographics and the culture. Something like 97% of the population identifies as having European descent.
97%, wow.
Yeah, and Buenos Aires, the capital, is truly cosmopolitan. A major cultural hub, you mentioned tango, but also literature. Amazing straight line.
And soccer, of course.
Oh, absolutely.
Correct.
The passion for soccer is legendary. Elevated globally by stars like, Messi.
Forget Messi. So, amidst this rich cultural backdrop, what are the biggest social challenges that people are dealing with day to day?
Despite all that cultural vibrancy, yes, significant social challenges persist. Rising poverty and income inequality are major concerns.
Made worse by the economy.
Exacerbated by decades of economic instability. Exactly. Real wages have actually declined in recent years, and informal labor is widespread.
Meaning work without protections.
Right, where the government really struggles to enforce labor laws, education is a strength state. Literacy is near universal.
That's good.
But access to quality healthcare, basic services, that varies a lot. especially if you're in an indigenous community or a rural area.
So inequality in access.
Definitely. Culturally, though, Argentina thrives on its traditions. You know, the gaucho heritage, drinking mate tea is everywhere.
Asado barbecues.
The famous asados, yes. While at the same time, it's embracing modern innovation in tech and the arts. It's not static.
Any other social friction points? Privacy, maybe?
There have been some privacy concerns raised, yeah. Like the ochdu.r platform, which collected children's data during the pandemic. That sparked debate.
Okay. What about safety nets? Social programs?
On the positive side, social protection programs like the Universal Child Allowance, the AUH, and Elementor, which gives food support.
Those have helped.
They've actually been expanded under Milei's administration, which is maybe surprising, but it provides crucial support to vulnerable families.
But there's a big challenge coming up, isn't there? With young people.
That's a huge one. Nearly 2 million young people are expected to enter the workforce in the next decade.
2 million?
And right now, job creation is lagging behind. That's a potential powder keg, socially and economically. It really tests the sustainability of any recovery.
Yeah, that youth employment point is really stark, and it highlights how the internal picture connects directly to the external one, doesn't it?
Absolutely, they're totally intertwined.
So let's pivot now to Argentina's external dynamics, starting with foreign policy, diplomacy. Clearly shaped by economic needs, its regional role.
For sure.
Being a G20 member, a prospective OECD candidate that signals a desire to get back into the global economic fold after feeling isolated for a while, right?
Definitely. Reintegration is a key theme.
Yeah.
And zooming out, the Milei administration has made alignment with the United States a very clear priority.
Especially looking ahead to 2025 and the potential Trump administration.
Yeah, there's potential for ties to strengthen there. There are even ongoing talks about a U.S. free trade agreement.
That's complicated.
It is, mainly by the existing rules within Mercosur, the South American trade bloc Argentina belongs to.
Okay, and the IMF. That relationship seems absolutely crucial.
Critical is the word. Argentina owes the IMF over $40 billion from past bailouts.
$40 billion?
Including that huge $44 billion extended fund facility from 2022. There's a new IMF program now, started in April 2025.
What's the aim of this new one?
It's alongside World Bank and Inter-American Development Bank support, really focused on trying to foster longer-term sustainable growth, not just stabilization.
And Mercosur itself, is Milei looking to leave it?
No. Argentina continues to emphasize Mercosur, but Milei does want to reduce internal trade barriers within the bloc, make it more efficient.
What about relations with neighbors?
A bit mixed. Some tensions with, say, Bolivia and Paraguay over migration and trade issues, but relations with Brazil and Chile remain generally strong.
And on the world stage beyond economics.
Well, Argentina held the presidency of the UN Human Rights Council back in 2022.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it underscored a commitment, at least on paper, to global human rights scrutiny, showing it wants to engage on those broader international issues too.
Okay, shifting slightly to trade itself and Argentina's global standing, it's clear trade is heavily commodity driven.
Oh, yeah. Fundamentally.
Can you break that down a bit? What are the big exports?
Agriculture is the giant share. Soy, beef, grains, those are heading to markets like Brazil, China, Algeria, based on 2024 data.
And energy, Vaca Muerta again.
Energy exports, yeah, particularly from Vaca Muerta, bring in about $3 billion a year.
But isn't domestic demand also rising?
It is. And that's the catch. Rising domestic demand actually led to a $6 billion energy trade deficit back in 2013. It shows a vulnerability there.
Okay. And imports, what's coming in?
Mainly industrial machinery, consumer goods. Imports have been around $50 billion annually since 2011.
And the overall trade balance.
The current account is actually expected to shift to a slight deficit in 2025.
Why is that?
Mostly because import growth is expected to pick up faster now that some restrictions have been relaxed.
So that commodity dependence makes it vulnerable, right? To prices, weather.
Hugely vulnerable to global price swings and, as we mentioned, climate events like droughts.
So beyond these essential commodities, what does Argentina's global standing look like? Where does it need to maybe focus to become more competitive, more diverse?
Well, its standing is definitely getting a boost from its natural resources, especially lithium.
The white gold.
Exactly. That's attracting huge interest from investors. Like Elon Musk has been mentioned, it's a massive opportunity in future-facing industries.
But there are weaknesses, too.
A key one is intellectual property enforcement. It lags. Online piracy, counterfeit markets are growing.
How does that show up in rankings?
Argentina ranked 73rd out of 132 in the 2023 Global Innovation Index.
Middle of the pack.
Yeah, not great if you want to attract high-tech investment or grow creative industries. It's a hurdle.
What about other aspects? Military, digital connections.
The military is modernizing, but it's constrained by the economic challenges. Still maintains a regional security presence, though. Pragmatic.
And digital.
That's a potential strength. It's marine cable systems connecting it to global markets are pretty robust. That really enhances digital trade potential.
A path to diversification, maybe?
Could be. It offers a way to move beyond just shipping raw commodities.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, it seems abundantly clear, doesn't it? Argentina in 2025 is truly a nation at a crossroads.
Absolutely, that feels like the right word.
Internally, President Milei's bold, maybe even radical reforms have made some serious headway. You know, curbing that crazy inflation, bringing down poverty, sparking some economic recovery.
Yes, the numbers show that.
But as we've explored, that high debt hasn't vanished. Inequality is still deeply entrenched. And those social challenges, like youth unemployment, are really significant.
Loom large, yeah.
And externally, Argentina is actively trying to rebuild its global presence through trade, through diplomacy.
Re-engaging.
Right, leveraging those amazing natural resources while, carefully navigating the IMF obligations and those complex regional dynamics.
It really highlights that underneath all these big economic and political shifts, you've still got Argentina's rich culture, its remarkably resilient people, and just vast potential. Its future path really hinges on whether it can sustain this fiscal discipline, whether it can foster growth that's actually inclusive, that benefits more people.
Not just the top line numbers.
Exactly. And whether it can deepen those international partnerships. It's not just if it changes, but how it manages these huge transformations in the long run.
So what does this all mean for you listening in? As President Milei's policies continue to unfold, the world is definitely watching. Will Argentina reclaim its place as a potential global economic leader, or will it stumble over some of those historical pitfalls again? What really stands out to you from the deep dive into Argentina's incredibly dynamic landscape right now? And maybe what questions does it spark for your own understanding of global economies and that complex dance between policy, culture, and sheer resilience?